Terry and I have talked about the ego before. He has this belief, it's like you can't kill the ego. Like he said, he's like, you can't kill the ego. It's more like, you don't want to kill, like a snake wouldn't want to kill its venom. It's going to need that venom at some point. Or the ego is like a wolf. Like it's your companion. It's there for you, but you can't let the wolf run the show. But in a situation where you need that wolf to be in place, it's there to protect you. It's there to, guide the way a little bit.
All right, now we don't need Terry to come on.
Yeah, he said it's like you don't want to kill it, you just want to tame it. You want to tame the ego so it serves you instead of controlling you.
Yeah, there's some definite drive about that. I've noticed in my, Mitch, before we got on, was talking about basketball and stuff like that. I noticed when I play Ultimate Frisbee, when people would insult my ability to play or, make fun, that was what would drive me. I would go to Harvard Stadium and run the stadiums in the middle of winter with like snow on the stadiums. And that would be what would be in my, like, you next time we're out on that field and there's a disc that goes up, I'm gonna go get it. So
well, you know what, it's funny that you say it because obviously playing sports, same thing with basketball, putting in the extra time, blah 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 blah, and it's all motivated by the I'm gonna show you, which in the end was kind of the driving force behind Michael Jordan.
Right?
Like he's sort of a bitter man in that, like, you say, like, anyone say anything bad, he's like, okay, I'll show you, and then like he would dedicate his life to that. And it's like, all right,
Tom Brady,
success, but also, is that a joyful life?
Tom Brady too. We said he wasn't good enough, that he had to fight for his position in Michigan. He was 6th round draft. So.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger says it, he says, like, I love when somebody tells me that it's not possible, because then when I do it, I prove it's possible. I'm the first one to do it.
That was awesome. That was really good.
But that was also like what fueled me when I was a real estate agent. I used to go to all the different houses, thinking about my ex-wife is, thinks I can't be successful. She, doesn't believe in me. I'm going to go and I'm going to get every sign on the freaking main city, on the main streets. So that every time she has to drive down the main street, she's got to see my sign, see my sign, see my sign. And then she's going to see like how successful I've become. And that drove me for a while.
Yeah. Which is funny though, because
are you happy in the end? Like Mitch was saying,
didn't make me happy.
Listen, that vindictive motivation can definitely get things done, but it's not a happy place.
Right.
No, and that was the thing I learned was I was working from a place of proving myself, a place of I'll show you. And so every dollar I made forced me to show somebody else, prove again, prove again, prove again. So if you look back at my videos 7 years ago, I was heavy ego. I was super scarce mindset, like attack anybody.
And a coonskin cap.
Anything to get attention, right?
I can't believe I'm friends with a guy that used to wear one of those hats.
I think like Ron actually said that every day. I wore that thing every day for almost a year, 6 months, a year. The entire time we filmed Fall Over Hustle, wore that the entire time.
You were peacocking.
Episode.
By the way, just to add to what you were saying, you're out there and you're doing this, and maybe there's no joy in it, but you're proving it. The other person isn't even affected by it at all.
Nope.
Like it's like when they say resentment is a poison you take hoping that it makes the other person sick. It's like you're sitting there going, I'm doing this and then they'll know, and meanwhile they're off in like Tahiti, like doing their own thing.
What's crazy about all this though, like, again, the only positive side of that is it actually is like in terms of a motivator, in terms of keeping like you driven towards something, right? Even if it is kind of with negative energy. I mean, I kind of grew up with that same mindset, like chip on my shoulder, because like I was the broke kid, I was this kid, I was didn't have it. Like, I'm like, screw this. Like, when we're adults, I'm basically going to be on top. It was like I was on the bottom as a kid, like I'm going to basically be on top. But on the flip side is that when you lose that, it's like, wait, do you still have motivation? Like my biggest thing is like, I don't care anymore. Like life is good. Like I give a rat's ass what people think, blah, blah, blah. But I also find myself way less driven and motivated than I was back when I had that chip on my shoulder. So it's like, how do you replace that with like, I guess, good motivating energy? And I mean, there's plenty of stuff, but that's been my personal struggle in terms of being like driven and motivated now that I'm in like a comfortable place in life. And it's more so about like not really out there like to prove stuff to people. Like it was always, I'm going to do this to be like, just show that like I'm awesome. Like I'm over that.
Hey, read Jen Sincero's "You Are Badass."
Well, I'm listening to that.
Actually addresses that.
Okay, yeah, because that's the biggest thing I found is that like I've lost my motivation. Like people think I'm ambitious and I do a lot of things and I still get things done, but for me, I look at like the last 10 years and like that guy is lazy compared to the first like 20 whatever 8 years of my life or whatever the math is. But I also lost that anger.
Talking about motivation, I was having this conversation with Dorina this week, and she was kind of questioning questioning like everything that I do. And she does this in love. She loves me. But as a woman living with somebody who's like this ambitious, she is allowed to question things, right?
Let's go to Utah.
So yeah, well, that was her choice. So
balance this Walter out, make him go on the spiritual journey.
But she came to me and she was like, I don't want to save the world. I don't want to, make people's lives better. Like, I just want to live. I just want to ride horses. I just want to, experience life. And she's like, why is it so important to you? And I just told her, I was like, without it, I am fat. I'm unmotivated. I'm unhealthy. I would just sleep with a bunch of women to validate my ego. Like I'm a useless piece of shit without a goal, without like a real tangible challenge in front of me. The challenge may scare and intimidate other people, but for me, it gives me purpose. It gives me meaning because I'm not proving it to anybody anymore. I'm proving it to me. Like every day I wake up and I'm like, is it possible for me to be this impactful in a world? Can I evolve and change the way I talk and speak? Can I create better products? Can I automate the millionaire building process? Can I attract amazing people like you and Mitch? Can I do more of that in my life? And can I maintain these relationships and develop these guys and develop myself along the way? Like that's a challenge every single day to wake up, and it's exciting. I'm just like every day I'm like, oh my God, like could I send them a new quote? Could I read something that inspires me? Or you mentioned Jensen Sherritt today, Mike. Now I'm like, I've got to go look at this again. I've got to go revisit. You are a badass.
But it's funny how because I'm more leaning towards like the Mitch side where it's kind of like, I want to enjoy life. And Jen says in one of her things, it's like the people who make an effort to enjoy their life, enjoy their lives. So it's like you sort of sit there and you go, well, I mean, wouldn't it be for you, Mitch? Wouldn't it just be something that gets you so like amped up in a really good way? Like that if you see the end results, if you saw like, I don't know what you want, but let's say you wanted to just have a plane, for example, like, wouldn't that get you motivated? All right. Well, I don't know.
No.
What do you want?
No, actually, Mike, it doesn't even have to be a specific thing. Like it comes down to
she's 5'8", blonde, German heritage, lives in Delray.